in 1998 that the EDC was having, where they were actually planning on redeveloping the waterfront. They're planning a massive redevelopment for the waterfront. And at that meeting, they were talking about bringing in huge container ships for Sunset Park, and they were talking about preserving the wildlife in Staten Island. And I was the only community-based organization at this meeting. It was mostly industry people. And I remember raising my hand and saying, I think it's really cool that you care about the birds in Staten Island, and I think it's great that you're doing everything to preserve, you know, the wildlife and the environment so that the birds in Staten Island have a place where they can hang out. But what about the people in Sunset Park? And that's kind of how it started. And at that point they said, who are you? What's your name? And that's when I said, well, I'm Elizabeth Jean-Pierre and I run UPROSE. It's Elizabeth, can you buzz me? When I came on board in 1996, the organization had lost a lot of its funding, you know, had suffered what we call the Giuliani hit. Giuliani had basically taken out a lot of the organizations that were founded during the civil rights movement, a lot of the Black and Latino organizations. And I came in because I was asked to prevent it from disappearing. So at that point, we realized that there were a lot of environmental burdens in the community, that there was no one organizing around issues having to do with social justice. And so we changed the mission of the organization so that it's now an organization that's dedicated to environmental and social justice. Sunset Park begins at 15th Street, ends on 65th Street, and runs from 8th Avenue down to the waterfront. It's a huge community, and it has a quarter acre of open space for every 1,000 people living here. And my understanding is that that statistic includes Greenwood Cemetery, which you see here is pretty large. This is the only open space that we have in this community, which is Sunset Park. It's a park that has a swimming pool, some basketball courts, and is really distressed because it's overutilized. And on any sunny day that you're out, if you were out today, you would see that it's just blanketed with people. If you throw a ball, you hit someone. That's how overutilized it is. So it's the only open space that we have. Hopefully the Greenway and the Waterfront Park will bring in an additional 25 acres to this community, and it's really desperately needed. It's probably one of the communities in New York City with the least amount of open space. The citywide average, I think, is 2.5 acres for every 1,000 people, and outside of New York City, it's about 6 to 7 acres.
My name is Kevin Casilla, and I live downtown Brooklyn, and I like to play baseball, basketball.
My name is Joey. I'm from Sunset Park, and I like to play soccer.
My favorite activity is just hang out with my friends.
I'm from Albania.
Puerto Rico.
Ecuador.
Dominican Republic.
It's a big population for like a little park.
And then there's a lot of kids. There's just never room.
That's probably why they take the cemetery into account as parkland area, and I don't think that's right.
If it was a space to play, then you would see everybody in the cemetery walking around playing with footballs, but when you look at a cemetery, you don't see that.
We just need a lot of space.
Another place to hang out.
More space to breathe.
Pool.
No one in Sunset plays hockey.
And the park across the street has nothing.
It's like the street is not for kids.
These kids should have an opportunity to have a place where they could play. Park space, open space isn't just recreational. It's not because we want the neighborhood to look beautiful, although that's definitely a plus. It really is a matter of life and death. It's a matter of whether or not our kids are going to be healthy or not, whether our elders can go out and breathe deeply. That's why we say that this is an environmental justice issue. This is a mixed-use zone, and people actually live in the midst of a lot of environmental burdens. It's one of the largest walk-to-work communities in the city of New York, which is extremely important for a working class community like ours. We want to support the manufacturing base. We want to make sure that those jobs don't go away. We want to be involved in efforts that prevent sprawl. And we want to be able to attract green manufacturing or manufacturing that has green uses. But we also want to engage them in discussions about alternative energy and how to adapt practices that are going to reduce emissions and that are not only going to be beneficial to the community that lives here, but the people who work for them.
I'm Jay Watkins, and I'm the Environmental Justice Programs Coordinator here at UPROSE. And I just want to talk a little bit about the harbor situation that's coming back. Since the historical hazardous toxic plants have left, the estuary began to reinvent itself, to adapt itself. And for a long time, there were no birds in this area. There was very little vegetation. But because it's been left alone for about 20, 30 years, it's starting to come back, and that's the magnificence of the earth, that it can renew itself and come back. So what we want to do is take advantage of this healing process and have people come out and enjoy it, take the fences away so people can come out and see the birds and see the vegetation. I just can't wait until our community can come and see what they've been missing. Other people who have views like this in Jersey or in Manhattan, they're able to actually enjoy it and take it in, whereas we live in a community where our view of this beautiful skyline and this beautiful harbor is fenced up. It has been fenced up for years, for decades. And so we at UPROSE, we can't wait for that fence to come down. We just can't wait. Most of the people in Sunset Park, we ask kids where our waterfront is, they don't even know. They don't even know they live in a waterfront community.
We're really concerned about what happens after we get these environmental amenities in our community. What we found is that as a result of our progress, developers are calling us and asking us questions about the status of the Greenway. We see families getting displaced because the neighborhood is laced with baby trees. We're worried that all of the work that we've done for the past 10 years is going to end up in the displacement of the very people that we struggled to provide a better quality of life for. That engagement can end up in their displacement is criminal. We are going to be engaging in an anti-displacement campaign. We've been thinking about how you can use infrastructure in a way that reduces the impact of displacement in one part of the community. We've thought about how greenways, for example, all of the planning has happened along the waterfront. And for a lot of people, when they think of waterfront, they think luxury housing. For us, we think walk-to-work jobs, manufacturing, mixed-use zone, but community access, a green port. So one of the things that we've been thinking about is that we want to make recommendations to the city that they start looking about how to connect the greenways inland to landlocked communities like Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, communities that are low-income communities, communities of color, communities that are also burdened environmentally. And what will happen as a result of that is that if you have green buffers and greenways and you have these amenities connecting inland communities to waterfront communities, what will happen is integration instead of displacement. There is a difference between environmentalism and environmental justice. And for environmentalists, the way that we think of having trees and gardens, those are luxuries. But the right to breathe is a necessity.